In my last video, I promised that I will go into detail on a number of things from the email that KCC sends out to DV applicants. This is the video with detailed explanation, which I believe you will find very helpful to your application process. Now, I have divided this video into 3 parts. The first part has to do with gathering your documents. The second part concerns preparing your documents, and I believe that this second part is very important. So I urge you to watch this entire second part, because that is where many applicants get it wrong. And finally, the third part will be about submitting your documents. So let us go straight over to the first part that has to do with gathering your documents. Now, many people get selected in the diversity visa program and they have absolutely no idea on the application process. So we get questions like, where do I get those documents that are required to be sent to KCC? Some even believe that it's the US government that will issue them the documents. In this first part, I explain how you go about getting your documents in case you do not know how. Now, the documents that you have to submit to KCC are civil documents that you acquire from relevant government agencies within your country. You may have to go to countries that you lived in before to get a number of those documents. So it is not the United States government that will provide those documents for you. Now, if you do not know how to go about getting documents in your country, ask someone who is more knowledgeable than you. Ask a friend, ask a relation, ask a neighbor, someone who will give you information how to go about acquiring a passport, acquiring a birth certificate in case you do not have one yet. Now, when you get the information from such a person, you have to go to the agency that's responsible for a specific document and complete your inquiry. Ask questions like, how much is it going to cost you? Because getting the documents is not free. You will have to pay for them. There are other things you will also need to provide. Sometimes you need to provide a number of passport size photos and other documents in order to be issued some documents. So go to those agencies that you are directed to, ask questions, then go and prepare yourself and then get those documents. Now, in our last video, we saw the list of documents that are required. So you could create a checklist considering the documents that are on that list, see which of the documents apply to you. You will need a passport. You will also need a birth certificate, but you may not need a prison record because maybe you have never been in prison before. You may not have served in the military. So in that case, you will not need military records. So if you can, create a checklist for you and possibly for all other applicants in your case, which will indicate which documents each applicant needs to provide. And then you can go and get those documents for each of you in your case. So that is how you go about acquiring or gathering the documents to send to KCC. Now, the second part, as I said, has to do with preparing your documents. Once you have gathered those documents, you will need to scan them for sending to KCC. Now, you could scan them using a scanner if you have a scanner in the formats that are recommended, JPEG or PDF. That is, if you have a PDF reader on your computer, you could use it to scan the document in PDF. So JPEG or PDF. Now, if you do not have a scanner, you could use your mobile phone. But as we said in the previous video, be sure that the documents can be read when you use your mobile phone to take photographs of them. Now, in a moment, I'm going to make a comment regarding how to take photographs of your documents. But before I do that, another possibility, if you do not have a scanner and perhaps you do not have a mobile phone, or you have a mobile phone but you do not want to do it yourself, you can find a business in your vicinity that deals with documents. They surely will have a scanner and they could scan your documents for you. Some of them are even knowledgeable when it comes to the diversity visa application process. They could help you in preparing and submitting your documents to KCC. But if you wish to do it on your own, then let's continue in this video where you will learn in detail how to do that. Now, what I was about to say when it comes to taking photographs of your documents. I work with a lot of documents. There are ways I have observed people take photographs of documents that are not appropriate. All right, let me just show you what I mean. Now here is a document before me. What I have realized is that when many people take photograph of their document, they stand at one end of the document, they position the mobile phone from that end, lean it toward the document, and then they go about taking the photograph of the document, which is very wrong. Others position the mobile phone far away from the document so that you barely can recognize what is written on the document. That also is wrong. Best practice will be to place the mobile phone exactly on top of your document, parallel to the document. And then you look from the top to see whether you can see all of the margins of the document. If you do not see all of the margins of the document, then move further away from the document until you get to a point where you can see just about the margin, and it's at that point that you take photograph of the document. Do not go further away, because if you go further away, you are going to create unnecessary spaces around the document, and generally the inscriptions on the document will barely be seen. Now what I did is I took photographs of this document 3 different ways, and I have saved them on my computer. So I'm going to show you the 3 different images from 3 different positions, the 3 positions that I just spoke about, and then you decide which one is the best. Here are the 3 images, and I'm going to open them one after the other. This is the first one, and this one was taken from one side of the document, as you can see, with the mobile phone leaned toward the document. In this case, you see that the inscription at the other end of the document is not clearly visible. So you are not advised to take photographs of your document in this way. The next one was taken from far above. So as you can see, you can hardly read what is written on this document apart from birth certificate and then what is written at the top. But all of what is written in the middle, you can hardly read. So this is another way you are advised not to take photographs of your document. And finally, we have this one that is taken exactly from above the document. As you can see, every inscription on this document is clearly visible. This is the way in which you have to take photographs of your diversity visa documents in case you do not have a scanner and you wish to use your mobile phone. Alright, our next thing we're going to consider here is the naming convention. That is one thing that we saw in the previous video, and I'm going to elaborate on it as I said in the previous video. What I have done here is I have created a folder and I have placed in it all of my scanned documents. As you can see, this folder is called DV Documents. I open this folder. Here are my documents. These are documents that I scanned using my scanner, and I just named them Document 1, Document 2, 3, and 4. So what we are going to do is we are going to apply the naming convention to each one of these documents. In the example that is given in the email sent to diversity visa applicant, the name of the applicant is John Doe, but I'm going to add a middle name, Edward. So our applicant will be called John Edward Doe, and he's from the Africa region with case number 2022 AF000-12345. That is his case number. Let us consider this first document to be his passport. So we click on the name. We begin with his case number. As I said, let us consider that his case number is 2022. He's from the Africa region. So we are going to have AF, then the zeros, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then underscore. His first name is John, followed by another underscore. Then his middle name, we said Edward, another underscore, Doe. Alright, that's his full name, but the convention has not ended, so we continue with another underscore, and then finally we have passport, indicating that this is the passport of John Edward Doe, whose case number is 2022 AF000-12345. And then we hit the enter key, and then we have named this document according to the convention as requested in the email that is sent to diversity visa applicants. We are going to do something similar for the second document, If we consider this to be his birth certificate, we click on the name, document 2, that is how we saved it when we scanned it, and then we're going to continue in the same manner. 2022 AF 000123445. That's the first component of the naming convention, that is his case number, followed by underscore, then his first name John, underscore, middle name Edward, another underscore, Doe, underscore. And because this is his birth certificate, we complete the convention by adding birth underscore certificate. This tells us that this is the birth certificate of John Edward Doe with this case number. Okay, what I usually do is I select this, copy it, and then when I have to move to the next document, I simply use what I've already used previously, and then it makes the task even easier. So for document 3, I paste what I have for document 2, and then I modify the name of the document, because this document, as I can see, is his marriage certificate. So I simply change birth to marriage, and then I have the full name of this file. Move to the next one. As I can see, is police clearance certificate, which is the police certificate. So I click on document 4, paste what I copied earlier, and then the word birth is changed to police. So this is the police certificate of John Edward Doe. Now let us consider that John Edward Doe has only 4 documents to submit in his case, all right? That is his passport, his birth certificate, his marriage certificate, and then his police certificate. Now you're going to do exactly the same for John Edward Doe's wife if he is married. In our example, we had Jane Doe. So we will gather documents for Jane Doe, and then we scan them and name them in the same way. If they have children, we are going to do the same for each one of their children. So this is how you go about naming the document that you are going to submit to KCC. There is something I must also mention. It has to do with the file type. It is said that the document should be in JPEG or PDF. Now, when I was scanning these documents, I set the scanner on JPEG. So these documents were scanned using the JPEG format. If you scan the document using JPEG, that is, you choose JPEG from the settings of your scanner, then the documents are automatically in JPEG. If you use a PDF reader to scan the document, then the documents will be in PDF. So for example, this is the birth certificate. It was scanned in JPEG. This is the JPEG format. We also have the same document scanned using a PDF reader, the birth certificate, but this time around in PDF. This is it. This is the upper part. And when I scroll down, you see that there are all other pieces of information. So you do not add PDF or JPEG to the naming convention. The program used to scan your documents will add the relevant extension. Now to the next thing, which is the maximum size of the email. For example, I take this JPEG birth certificate. It's not so heavy, it is less than 1. And because the total size of the email is 30, so it means that if each of the documents is below 1 megabyte, and we have, say, 4 for John Doe, perhaps 6 for Jane Doe, his wife, and then maybe they have 3 children and you have 2 documents for each of those 3 children, is going to be a total of 16 documents with less than 1 megabyte for each one of them. Is going to be far below the 30 megabytes that are allowed. Now, in your case, you may have documents that are very heavy, and you see that attaching them to one email, you are going to exceed the 30 megabytes. This is what I advise you to do. In my last video, I said, do not follow the recommendation that is given in the email that states that you should send your documents in more than one email in case they exceed 30 megabytes. Why I advise you not to send them in more than one email is that when you do the calculation of the number of entrants that are selected in the diversity visa lottery and see the length of time that they have to submit their documents, about 200 or more applicants on the average, send in their documents every day. It may even be well above that. It could be as many as 250. Now, if you send in a first email and you have to attach more documents to send in a second email, it is possible that between your emails, applicants from other countries around the world are also sending their documents at that same time, and their documents will come between your first email and the second email. As you know, there is only one email address that all of these documents from possibly more than 100,000 applicants are all sent to only one email. So in case other documents come between your emails, not all staff at KCC will be patient enough to scroll down and look for your next email. After opening your first email, if they do not see all of your documents, they may just pass on to the next email, that is the email of the next applicant, and if that person has all of their documents in place in one email, they are going to attend to that person, and that is going to delay processing of your case. That's one reason why applicants send in their documents and they are not processed. So I advise you against that because of my experience dealing with DV applicants. Do not send your documents in several emails, in multiple emails, even if they exceed 30 megabytes. Now, the question you ask me is, then what do you do when they exceed 30 megabytes? And this is what I'm going to tell you now. There are a number of things you can do to reduce the size of your files. Firstly, if you use your mobile phone to take photographs of your documents, it is possible for you to go into the setting of your mobile phone and reduce the size of the files from there. Usually there are several file sizes. Choose a small size, and that will reduce the weight of your documents at the end of the day. Now, if it happens that you scan them and you realize that they are heavy, let us just use one as an example. Let me just use this one, the birth certificate that has 831 kilobytes. Now, there is a program in Microsoft Office, and it's called Microsoft Office Picture Manager. That program can be used to compress your documents in case the total file size exceeds 30 megabytes. So instead of you sending your documents in several emails, I will advise that you compress your documents using Picture Manager, and then you will realize that your documents reduce in size. If they were more than 30 megabytes after compression, definitely they will be much lower in size. So compress your documents, attach all of them to one email and send them in to KCC. Now someone is going to ask me, how is that done? So let us apply that on this birth certificate of John Edward Doe. You right click the document, scroll down to open with, and then you see here Microsoft Office 2010, that is Picture Manager. You click on it, and that is going to open the document in Microsoft Picture Manager. All right, let me just move this a bit. All right, this is Microsoft Picture Manager 2010 that we are in now. So you move to where you have picture at the top menu here, click on it, and then scroll down to where you see compressed pictures. Click on compressed pictures, and then move over to the right side of your screen, and as you can see, compress for, all right, you could compress for documents, you could compress for email messages. Now look at the bottom here. All right, we have the original to be 831 kilobytes. Now when we compress this document for documents, it now becomes 70. Imagine from 831 down to 70 kilobytes. You see the difference in size? You could also compress for email messages, and when you do, it's compressed down to 3 kilobytes. Can you imagine that? So instead of you sending in multiple emails that could cause you problem, that is if the total file size of your documents exceed 30 megabytes, use Picture Manager to compress your documents, and your file size will be drastically reduced. That is best practice for sending in your documents. Do not send them in multiple emails. It's going to cause you harm, my friend. So the folder where you are saving your DV documents will look something like this inside. As you can see, we have multiple documents now because in our case, we said John Doe is married to Jean Nancy Doe and they have 3 children. So these are the documents of the entire family. As you can see here, James Andrew Doe, that is the birth certificate of one of the sons. This is his passport. He is below 16 years old, so he doesn't need a police certificate. He has only a passport and a birth certificate. Then the mother, Jean Nancy Doe. This is her passport, her birth certificate, her marriage certificate because she's married to John, and the police certificate. She lived in France, and so this police certificate is police certificate for France, and then they are from South Africa. So as you can see, the naming convention here is the case number followed by underscore Jean underscore Nancy underscore Doe underscore police underscore certificate underscore South underscore Africa, and then that is it for that file name. So depending on the number of applicants that are in your case, you may have something like this. That is several passports, several birth certificates, marriage certificate if you are married, police certificate according to the different conditions that we saw in the previous video, etc. You may even have military records, prison records, or court records in case any of those apply to you. And so that takes us to the third and final part of our video, which has to do with submitting your documents to KCC. So let us move over to our email and compose the email that we are going to send to KCC. All right, we are now in our email. We click on compose, and then we have the composition area where we will compose our message to KCC. If you remember well, the address we have to send our email to is kccdvdocuments@state.gov. All right, kccdvdocuments@state.gov. And the instructions in the email says that the subject of your email should be your case number. So we will have, in our case here, 2022 AF for the Africa region, then 000123445. That's the case number of this case, the case of John Edward Doe. All right, now for the body of the email, usually I just write something like this. Dear sir, madam, kindly find attached documents required to support my diversity visa application. Best regards. All right, just for courtesy's sake, I usually add such a body to the email. And then the next thing is to attach all of the documents. So we click on the attachment here. Our folder is located on the desktop, so we open the desktop and then we look for DV documents. Already we open, so this is what we have, all of the documents in this case. You could choose to attach them one after another. That is, you click on this one and at the bottom here you click on open, and that document is going to attach to this email. It has finally attached. You move back by clicking on the attach button. You are taken back to this folder where you save all of your documents, and then you continue the process. But so as not to waste your time, we click on one, press shift on our keyboard, use the right arrow, and it allows us to select all of our documents in this folder. Once we have done that, we click on open and all of them start to attach at the same time. All right, so we just wait until they are fully attached, and then finally we will click on the send button so that all our documents can be sent to KCC. Now, the one final thing is that once you have submitted your documents to KCC, what happens is that you are going to receive an automatic email. That email tells you that the system at KCC has received your documents, but it doesn't mean that your documents have been processed. You will have to wait for a number of weeks, and then you will get the real email from KCC that will tell you that indeed your documents were processed. And then depending on your case number, you will eventually be scheduled and invited for interview. All right, they are all in blue. The final thing is to click on send, and then you will receive the automatic email. That was the GPS. Gather, prepare, and submit your documents to KCC. I believe the details in this video will be very helpful to a lot of diversity visa applicants. If that is true for you, why not subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so that whenever a video is published to this channel, you will be notified. And also share the video with those you know are in need of it. As I said, there are so many who get selected and know nothing about the diversity visa process. Thanks for watching it, and see you, God willing, in the next one. Goodbye.